Marcus Chen was fumbling with his coffee cup and phone when his 6-year-old daughter Emma tugged at his coat sleeve with surprising urgency. "Daddy, her baby is freezing!" He glanced down, expecting another one of Emma's dramatic observations about a neighborhood cat or someone's pet, but when he followed her pointing finger across the street, his breath caught. Huddled in the doorway of the closed bookstore was a young woman, maybe early 20s, clutching what looked like a bundle of blankets. The bundle was moving. The December wind whipped through downtown Seattle, carrying the kind of cold that cut through expensive wool coats, let alone whatever thin layers that woman was wearing. "We have to help her," Emma whispered, her brown eyes wide with the kind of innocent certainty that Marcus's chest tightened. Marcus hesitated for exactly 3 seconds. 3 seconds of calculating risks, of wondering about safety, of thinking about schedules and meetings. Then he saw the woman's shoulders shake, not from cold, but from what looked like quiet sobs, and his corporate instincts evaporated. "Come on, sweetheart." They crossed the street together, Emma's small hand warm in his. As they got closer, Marcus could see the woman was younger than he'd thought, with tangled dark hair and clothes that had seen too many nights outdoors. The bundle in her arms was definitely a baby, maybe 3 or 4 months old, with tiny fingers poking out from a worn receiving blanket. "Excuse me," Marcus said softly, crouching down to her level. "Are you okay?" The woman's head snapped up, fear flashing across her face. She clutched the baby tighter. "We're fine. Please, we're not causing trouble." "Daddy, look at the baby's lips," Emma whispered, loud enough for the woman to hear. Marcus did look, and his heart sunk. The infant's lips had a bluish tint that made his stomach twist. The baby wasn't crying, which somehow made it worse. "I'm Marcus," he said, pulling off his scarf. "This is Emma. What's your name?" "Sophia," she said, after a long pause, accepting the scarf with shaking hands. "This is Isaiah." "Sophia, when did Isaiah last eat?" Her silence was answer enough. Emma suddenly stepped forward and started unzipping her pink winter coat. "Here, for the baby." "No, Emma, you'll be cold." "I have my sweater, Daddy. Babies are more important." She looked at Sophia with the kind of matter-of-fact compassion that adults spend years trying to reclaim. "My mommy died when I was little, but my daddy takes really good care of me. He can help you too." Marcus felt that familiar pang at Emma's casual mention of her mother, but also a surge of pride, so fierce it nearly knocked him over. Sophia's eyes filled with tears as Emma gently tucked the tiny coat around Isaiah. The baby's breathing seemed to ease almost immediately. "There's a diner 2 blocks from here. Would you let us buy you breakfast? Somewhere warm?" Sophia looked between Marcus's kind eyes and Emma's expectant face. I don't have money to pay you back." "Good thing we're not asking for any," Emma said, simply. The walk to Rosie's diner felt both eternal and too short. Marcus found himself stealing glances at Sophia, trying to piece together her story. She was well-spoken, despite her circumstances. Her clothes, though dirty and worn, had once been decent quality. This wasn't someone who'd been on the streets long. At the diner, Emma insisted Sophia take the booth seat by the heater. She slid in next to her like they were old friends, chattering about school and her favorite pancakes, while Sophia ordered soup and formula for Isaiah. "How old are you?" Emma asked, watching Sophia test the formula temperature on her wrist. 22. "That's really young to have a baby by yourself." Marcus nearly choked on his coffee. "Emma!" "It's okay," Sophia said softly. "She's right. Isaiah's father, he left when he found out I was pregnant. My parents kicked me out. I thought I had enough saved up, but medical bills—" She shrugged, a gesture that tried to be casual but carried the weight of a dozen bad decisions and worse luck. "Where did you sleep last night?" Emma asked. "Emma, that's the bus station, but security made us leave around 4 a.m. Marcus watched his daughter process this information with the same serious concentration she used for math problems. Then she turned to him with those big brown eyes that had been getting him in trouble since she was born. "Daddy, remember when you said our house was too big for just 2 people?" His heart stopped. He knew exactly where this was going, and every rational part of his brain was screaming warnings about strangers and safety and complications. But then he saw Isaiah, now peacefully drinking his bottle in the warm diner, his lips returning to a healthy pink. "I remember," he said quietly. "And remember when you said the most important thing is helping people who need it. I remember that too." Emma smiled the smile that had been melting his resolve for 6 years. "So, can Sophia and Isaiah come home with us? Just until they find their own place?" The silence stretched just long enough for Sophia to start shaking her head. "Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. Actually, I heard myself saying, Emma's right, we have plenty of space. I'm not asking you to trust me blindly. We can stop by the police station on the way, let them run my ID, whatever makes you comfortable. But that baby needs consistent warmth and food, and you need rest." "Why would you do this? You don't even know me." Marcus glanced at Emma, who was now making faces at Isaiah and earning tiny smiles in return. "6 months ago, Emma and I were in a car accident. Not serious, but we were stuck on the side of the highway for 3 hours waiting for help. A woman stopped, complete stranger, and waited with us, brought us hot chocolate from her thermos and sang songs with Emma. She didn't have to do that." He paused, remembering. "I asked her the same question you just asked me. She said kindness isn't about deserving or not deserving. It's about seeing someone who needs help and choosing to help them." Sophia stared at him for a long moment, then looked down at Isaiah, who was now gazing up at Emma with curious eyes. "One night," she said finally, "just until I figure out what to do next." Emma clapped softly. "This is going to be the best Christmas ever." 3 months later, Marcus found himself rushing home from work earlier than usual, not because of crisis management or urgent calls, but because Emma was teaching Isaiah to clap. And Sophia, now working as his executive assistant after he discovered her business degree and sharp mind, was making her famous pasta sauce for dinner. As he pulled into the driveway of his house, their house, he could see warm light spilling from the kitchen windows, and he could hear laughter carrying across the yard. Sometimes the most important business decisions had nothing to do with profit margins or quarterly reports. Sometimes they had to do with a 6-year-old's wisdom and the simple recognition that a family could be built from kindness, one day at a time. "Daddy," Emma called. As he walked through the door, Isaiah balanced on his hip like a pro. "Look, Isaiah said Emma today." And as Sophia smiled at him from the kitchen, flower in her hair and belonging in her eyes, Marcus realized that Emma had been right about something else too. This really was the best Christmas ever.